Looking for love in all the wrong places? We have a solution for you. Publishing clubs here, Tom Blake and Dinah Lynn. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Michael.
And Tom, you are a dating expert. I like the sound of that. For folks who are out there looking for love in all the wrong places, you're going to help them look for love in the right places, right?
That's correct.
So the next big meeting, that's the title of your workshop you have coming up, Looking for Love in All the Right Places, right?
Right, correct.
And what makes you an expert in dating? Have you studied it? Have you just had a lot of dates?
Well, that's part of a lot of marriages.
Marriages.
But what makes me an expert, I'm not a therapist.
Right.
I'm a writer, a newspaper guy. For 30 years, I've been writing about dating after 50, and then 60, and now 70, and even into the 80s. So that's perhaps why I'm an expert, but sometimes not.
So Dinah, what made you guys think, hey, we should have a speaker on dating in the Publishers Club?
I know, not intuitive. Well, I do not take the credit for this. Back in February, there was a front page article by Anita Gosh on Tom Blake. And our president, Nancy Brown, saw this article and she got very enthused and said, Dinah, do you think we can get Tom Blake to be a presenter for our program? And I said, well, I don't know. He's probably kind of busy, but let me try. So I wrote to him and introduced the publishing club and what we're about and asked if he'd be interested. And we did have a discussion about it on the board, but it was unanimous that we really would love to have this man. I mean, after all, Tom is an author, and he's mainly a columnist, and it's a topic that is certainly, I would say, of interest to the place like the Village.
Okay,
so anywhere.
Tom, you wrote a column for more than 30 years on dating. How did you get into it? What did you learn over some of the big things you learned over the years?
How I got into it was by a surprise divorce back in 1994. I was in Dana Point and went up to see my 83-year-old mom in Santa Rosa, not knowing that my wife of 6 years was cleaning out the house, taking what furniture and belongings she wanted, and moving out of my life.
Oh, wow.
So I got in a car to drive back, and I had a little notepad on my lap. Now, I had to be careful because I was very distracted by the news, because she had called me and said, oh, we moved out. What? And so I wrote notes. And then I got served divorce papers. More stuff for the notes. It was a journal. It was becoming a journal. I didn't know, but that was the journal that would launch my writing career, because at this time I was not a writer.
Oh, wow.
And then divorce followed very quickly, and I decided to try dating after 50. Oh boy, rejections, and I have to spend $40 for a dinner and stuff like that, and I would write it down, and after 6 months, I put it together in a short story and said, maybe I can get it published.
Is the fear of rejection one of the biggest things that keeps people from getting into the dating world in the first place? That fear of I just don't want to put myself out there, especially with the apps and everything like that. You have to load up all these pictures and do all this stuff.
Well, fear of rejection might be some of it, but I think there is a lot of work into it, as you alluded to, and writing a profile if you're going to be online dating. But yeah, I don't think it's just a fear of being rejected. I think it's like, oh wow, this could be a lot of work. How am I going to meet somebody? Where am I going to meet somebody? And those are the things that...
Yeah, and honestly, it's such a, I don't know, it's just such a weird feeling at our age to go on a first date. So Dinah, what can people expect when they come to the seminar and hear Tom?
Well, I would say that, we made a promise in the title. Everything to know about senior dating.
Okay.
And so, especially if you're single and you're interested in dating, I would say for sure you're going to want to come. But even if you're not single or if you're not interested in dating, it would be a very, I would say, entertaining, interactive, informative kind of a meeting for someone to come to. Okay. Actually, it's not a meeting per se, it's going to be an interview.
Kind of workshop-y
Well, no, Dr. Diana Boland, who I think most of your audience would know because she's right here, and she's going to be the interviewer interviewing Tom, and she's going to welcome questions throughout the program. So it will be very interactive.
So what do you find most rewarding or challenging about this kind of work that you do, helping people kind of connect and date in their senior years?
Well, the rewarding part of it is the people that I meet, and over the years, they've been great. And when they send me a comment that they enjoyed a column, you know, that's rewarding. The challenge is I write every week for 30 years, 5,000 columns, is to keep them fresh. That's the biggest challenge. And you do that because your readers help you. They send in comments and questions and that type of thing. I do a weekly e-newsletter also, and I have maybe 3,000 people across the U.S., mainly, however, in Orange County, who every week they'll send in 20, 25, 30 comments, and that gives me information to get the next week's newsletter out.
All right, so I'm going to tap into some of your expertise right now. Give me just 3 of your top tips, a little preview of the workshop. 3 of your top tips on getting out there and into the dating world.
Well, first one, get off the couch and out of the house, involved in activities that you enjoy with friends, make new friends, but the critical to be out, because if you're sitting at home, it isn't going to happen.
It's hard to meet somebody on the couch.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Maybe
good.
later.
Yeah, maybe later you get to the couch eventually, but first let's start with that, getting out there and meeting
and
them.
the second thing is to keep in mind your health. Try to exercise, watch your weight, that type of thing. That's really, really critical. And the third thing for singles is to be assertive, not aggressive. And by that I mean, let's say you're in Costco, you're a woman in Costco, and you see a man who doesn't have a wedding ring, he's roughly your age, looks very approachable. Say something to him, like, this wine, what wine do you recommend with, I'm making an Italian dinner for my friends, would you recommend? Anything to start the conversation.
Okay.
So you be assertive, not aggressive, and then throw it out that, oh, I'm a new widow, or I'm newly single. And maybe you can ask him, how about you? Maybe he.
That's a
maybe he's got a wife at home
I can
or
do
whatever. But it's to break the ice, and then have a little card with maybe your first name on it and a way to get a hold of you, but not your address, not your phone number. Maybe it's an email address you use only for dating.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's the quick minute, the fastest minute of your life. And if you don't make contact, you may blow the relationship, it may blow the chance for a relationship.
All right, well, we'll save the rest of the tips for the big seminar.
Right,
It's coming up.
You mean there's more?
July 17th, it's going to be for the Publishing Club's regular meeting, and should be a great one. Dinah and Tom, thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
You're watching This Day. We'll be right back.